Right now, someone in your life is studying you, not to love you, to learn you. They're watching what makes you react, what makes you explain yourself, what makes you fold. And most people never notice because it doesn't look like an attack. It looks like a conversation. By the end of this, you'll see it clearly, and you'll know exactly how to become the one person they can't read. The Stoics understood something uncomfortable, that other people are not weather. Weather has no intention. People do. Marcus Aurelius began nearly every day reminding himself that he would meet the meddler, the ungrateful, the manipulator, not with bitterness, but with clarity. He didn't pretend they weren't there. He simply refused to be moved by them. That is the whole art we're going to build today. Not paranoia, sovereignty. The first thing to understand is that manipulation rarely arrives as a demand. It arrives as a test, a small one. Someone says something slightly provocative and watches your face. They ask a question they don't need the answer to just to see what you'll reveal. They give a compliment and study whether you get greedy for more. These are probes. They're mapping your interior. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by the eye than by the hand, meaning most people read your surface, your reactions, your tells, far more than they weigh your actual character. The reactive man broadcasts everything. Every flicker of anger, every hunger for approval, every insecurity, right there on his face. He is, without knowing it, handing out the instructions for how to move him. There are 3 levers people pull to move you, and you'll recognize all 3. The first is your ego. They flatter you or they insult you, because both work. Flattery makes you lower your guard. Insult makes you defend yourself, and a defending man reveals everything. Epictetus said it plainly. It is not the insult that harms you, but your judgment that it's an insult. The moment you decide you've been slighted, you've handed them the lever. They didn't take your piece, you gave it. The second lever is your impatience. People who want to move you create false urgency. Decide now, answer now, react now, because they know that a man rushed is a man who hasn't consulted himself. Sovereignty lives in the pause. The most powerful sentence you own is, "I'll think about it." Said calmly, it ends more manipulations than any argument ever could. The third lever is your need to be understood. This is the subtlest one. They provoke you into explaining, defending, justifying, and the moment you're explaining yourself, you've accepted that they get to be the judge of you. You've handed them the gavel. The sovereign man notices the pull to explain and simply declines to pick it up. Now here's what the other channels in this space never tell you, and it's the most important part. People cannot manipulate a lever you don't have. Carl Jung taught that the parts of ourselves we refuse to look at, the shadow, don't vanish. They wait in the dark and they can be triggered by anyone who happens to touch them. Every button someone pushes in you is a place you haven't done your own inner work. If flattery moves you, there is an unmet hunger for recognition you haven't faced. If insults move you, there is a wound about your worth you haven't looked at. If urgency moves you, there is a fear of missing out you haven't sat with. So the deepest protection is not learning to spot manipulators. It's meeting your own shadow first. Because a man who has faced his hunger for approval cannot be bought with praise. A man who has made peace with being disliked cannot be steered by insult. You become unmanipulable, not by building higher walls, but by removing the hidden handles they were reaching for. This is the work the imitators skip, and it's why their power is a costume, and yours won't be. So what does it actually look like in the moment? Not coldness, not games. Stillness. When someone probes, you notice and you don't take the bait. You simply observe them noticing that you noticed. When someone rushes you, you slow down on purpose and let the pause do the work. When someone tries to pull you into explaining, you answer once, calmly, and never again. You stop treating every provocation as something that requires a response from you. Most of them require nothing. Silence is a complete sentence. And to a person studying you, silence is the one thing they can't read. Marcus called this the inner citadel, a fortress inside you that no one else can enter unless you open the gate. The manipulator's entire craft depends on you opening it out of ego, impatience, or insecurity. Guard the gate, and their whole game falls apart, quietly, without a single word from you. So understand what this really is. The goal was never to see enemies everywhere. That's paranoia. And paranoia is just another way of being controlled by other people. The goal is to become so whole, so self-sufficient, so at peace with yourself, that there is simply nothing left to grab. Let them study you all they want. There's nothing on the surface that moves you, and they'll never reach what's underneath. Do the inner work the loud men avoid. Guard your gate. Speak less than you feel, and let your calm be the one thing no one can decode. If this reached something in you, subscribe. This channel is for the ones building the inner citadel while everyone else performs. Stay quiet. Stay sovereign. I'll see you in the next one.